It is finally here. Just a few minutes ago, Anthropic launched Claude Opus 4.8, their latest flagship model. And if we quickly open the stats from the tweet that came out, it is fairly visible that, yes, of course, it is outperforming 4.7 on all of the arrays of the particular benchmarks. If we quickly go through a few ones before we then also quickly talk about potential pricing implications and we quickly walk you through the actual blog post that was just again released a few seconds ago. But before we get started, and if you're new to the channel, you don't know who I am in the first place, my name is Cyril Imhof. I've been in AI for the last 3 years. Back then we were building B2C products, we were in the news and on TV. But ever since, probably like everybody else in artificial intelligence, we moved to agentic artificial intelligence, building agents. We're also building and scaling our SaaS portfolio. I also own an education business where I've helped north of 500 students accelerating their AI journey in Switzerland as a lecturer at various unis, but also owning my own degree program in agentic AI. It is obviously the case that, yes, it is its next frontier, and they also teased it might actually be also dropping Mythos in a few weeks' time, but maybe more on that in a future video. If we quickly go through the stats step by step, what I feel is the most impressive one is probably the knowledge work as well as the computer use, but more on that just in a second. Agentic coding, yes, they're again lifting up the benchmark for 4.7. They're still outcompeting 5.5. Also keep in mind the Gemini 3.5 series has been announced with Flash, for example, that came out of the races, but the actual 3.5 Pro is still expected to be launching fairly soon. Then agentic terminal coding, that goes for ChatGPT 5.5, falling a little bit short, but still a substantial increase from 4.7. And of course, also again, outcompeting Gemini 3.1 Pro. I do believe this one actually might be then also winning versus 4.8 in terms of when 3.5 Gemini Pro is actually released. Multidisciplinary reasoning, not going too much into detail. Again, a step function change there. Agentic computer use. This is literally what I've been iterating almost daily with. I think that probably has the biggest return on investment. Of course, aside from Claude Code, if you're completely new to the agentic computer use, I would say user experience, it is what you're actually experiencing mostly with Claude Cowork. So Claude kind of takes over your laptop and, well, it actually just does its thing, right? So it executes, for example, it goes on all the websites, it can crawl down, it can definitely extract particular elements that you would need. It can do agentic web research, it can even interact, and so on and so forth. So everything you need it actually to do, you as a human. So just as an example, I could literally execute a task now, go do this analysis, go through all these websites and try to, well, at the end of the day, generate a PowerPoint. And there might be a task that takes between 30 to 40 to 45 minutes and is literally running consecutively on my laptop. And I can go to my pool and just relax basically, and I come back and it is eventually done, right? You can also, of course, let it set up so that you can actually execute even more detailed tasks within the Chrome browser extension. You need to give Claude Opus 4.8 now all the accesses to your browser, and then it can execute on all the actions, for example, on Apollo for agentic outreach, or if you do GTME or go-to-market engineering, or maybe actually signaling collecting, maybe, for example, with Clay, or maybe even using many other software tools. It can then really go deep into these software tools and actually extract value from them. So that's really the agentic computer use, knowledge work, of course, beaten again, and once again, super interesting. They're always kind of showcasing this agentic financial analysis, which of course for them is a core target customer base. They also announced a few more things today, just to actually finish the video on that. Dynamic workflows, once again, probably something that we will be seeing more and more and more in the next few weeks, especially now running on 4.8. Effort control, I think that's also an interesting one, especially on the user interface. I'll put a screenshot here on my Claude Mac app. You can actually also be selecting 4.8 depending on the, I would say, intensity it needs to run. So there's different tiers. I think that is new, whereas, for example, 4.7 and 4.6, and quite frankly, I was mostly for actually running 4.6 and not 4.7. You're of course not able to do that. Because this video is fairly new, tomorrow we'll probably also maybe we'll see more intel from artificial analysis, where it more or less lands. Just on the last point, I think there is this huge frenzy on AI pricing. AI is going to be more expensive. I think Microsoft currently, if you're an enterprise user and or if you're an AI builder, something super important to know, they're really significantly increasing the prices, for example, in GitHub Copilot, whereas, for example, 4.8 probably will still run at the same $5 per million input and 25 per million output tokens. There is different pricings, especially if you need it in fast mode, but this I think is more or less just coherent with what we've seen, and then maybe tomorrow again we can see how it compares to actual different models that are coming out very, very soon. But that's exciting news. We've seen an array of releases by Anthropic this year, 4.8 being the latest one, again dropped 45 minutes ago. And I'm sure Google and OpenAI is watching this release yet again closer, but they're more or less also kind of interested in when is Mythos dropping. Again, Mythos being this mythic model that is cracking all the cybersecurity leaks. And again, this has been released here on the benchmark from Singapore recently, that where does it actually land and what do we expect also in this cybersecurity space. So maybe we'll do on this channel a video on that as well. But that's it for the update. Again, Claude Opus 4.8 is out. I'm already testing it fairly heavily. What I've recently realized is also that my 20x Max subscription, so my weekly usage limit, I was able to run agentic computer use almost 8 or so hours a day. That has been reset, and I'm again truly curious if I will burn through my weekly usage as fast as I did before, and or if I can actually run maybe 2, 3, or 4 more iterations until I hit really these usage limits. Just me personally, I think, yes, all the stats are perfect, all the stats are fine, but ultimately I'm still running 4.7 or 4.6, and I'm crushing all into these limits eventually. So if you're running agentic computer use, after 2 to 3 hours, you're basically out of tokens, depending how many multiple agents you have actually running. And yet again, with this update, associated also with maybe with more SpaceX compute, we can see these boundaries being lifted up. But that's a bit on this, just a quick update on Claude Opus 4.8. And again, Claude is shipping fast, and I hope you as an AI builder as well. On this channel, we talk about all things AI harnesses. We talk about skills and maybe also how to build and sell agentic artificial intelligence products and AI SaaS in short. So if that's something you want to see more of, consider dropping a comment if you have a question, and or subscribe to this channel, and see you in the next one. Take care.